You guys seen Grayson Waller? Huh? You got that Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man. Somebody hit my music.
Fuck you! Fuck you, PrizePicks! Hate you. Fuck you, PrizePicks!
But I'm had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! All the shit, man, I had enough. Fuck you, PrizePicks! My whole clique about to fuck you up. Fuck you, PrizePicks! Population, we are not the same. Fuck you, PrizePicks! We get to win and take everything. Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this red. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage said if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpool into the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Betty on the hope, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all the money, ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you. Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
But I'm had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Robin Johnny, not tomato. Fuck you, PrizePicks. If you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock the population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Balking Dead, guys, where it is Wednesday, so you know what that means. We start the day with Jack of the Day with Connor Mack, as well as we have a packed slate of pitchers to talk about. So enough small talk. As you already know, this show is sponsored by W, clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by scanning that QR code on screen, you can get 10% off your first order by using the best promo code on God's green earth. Pub Sports, that is. If you haven't already, do me a favor, smash that like button and make sure you do have them notification bells on, as I will read out the best bets or answer any questions to anybody who does hashtag WeBePubbin into the comment section at the end of the show. It's that part of the show, guys. You know how we start, guys. We're going to talk us some hitting, specifically yappers.
Well, see you later.
What's good, my guy? Always good to see you. Wednesday
What
means
up?
it's CMAC. Wednesday means we're halfway through the week. How you doing?
It does. I'm good, my man. Let's get to it. Full slate of
Alrighty,
baseball. I'm pumped. And we have a little bit more games. You know, some of these Wednesdays and Thursdays are coming up. It's like 2 goddamn games, Sharpie.
Thursdays
on
have
the
been
late one.
real bad as of late.
Yeah, really Thursdays.
Real bad, man. But no, sometimes Wednesdays they have way more day games than what they have had. So
Yeah.
it's nice they did at least give us afternoon and night games today to fuck around and play with. So let's get right into it. We're gonna go into a divisional matchup between the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, and it's hot. It's hot everywhere right now. Who you looking at taking here?
Yeah, it is hot. You know, initially I look at this, you go to my guy, Christian Walker. He's 2 for 3 as a homer, and his Jack's 4-1. I don't mind it. But I'm going to go the flip side. This guy was really hot. I haven't took him in like 10 days, and he kind of cooled off, and he's off back to more 0 for 4 nights. But I want him here against a pitcher like Davies. He eats righties up. He eats him up. I mean, 7 for 22, couple doubles, couple homers. Definitely has the homers. His Jack's plus 550. Ryan McMahon for the Rockies.
Good old Ryan McMahon. Would you play him at just for the Jack, or did you play his base?
Just the Jack. His half is minus 195, and I don't mind his RBI. The RBI is plus 225. You know, that basically just correlates. It's you know, he has 69, and he hasn't had a ton of RBIs. Sharpie. He's been a little cold, and he hasn't really had ribbies since. You know, he had a homer in Atlanta. So if you want to add that, fine, but just a plus 550 Jack there.
Can't complain about no 550. Now, I want to talk about this next matchup. I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to fade in this spot. But then again, if you go take a Dodger, I guess I won't complain there either. But we've got Lance Lynn on the mound versus Brian Hoeing in the Dodgers and Marlins matchup. Who you looking at here?
Yeah, let's get to the Dodgers real fast here because Hoeing's basically the primary. I mean, can we get 2 at-bats there, Sharpie? I mean, maybe. And I think you just go back. We're waiting on the Dodger lineup, by the way. Do you have it out? I don't have it.
I haven't been able to check lineups like I told
okay,
you, bro. I cramped so hard with Fangraphs being down that it's fucked up my whole morning.
Just stick Mookie Betts. Freddie Freeman's 2 for 3 off him, and the numbers are good. Will Smith's 2 for 3 with a homer. But how many at-bats against Hoeing? It's basically a
2
bullpen day.
Most, probably,
2 at most. That's what. But I don't care. I mean, hey, I always say play those guys, keep playing them because I think you're going to keep cashing. But I'm going to go to the fish. I'm on Luis Ariz here, and I got +1 away. I really wanted 110 here, Sharpie. He kind of hit a lull, for a minute there, and he had a ton of games where he just got like 1 base hit. His averages come down, but he just got hot against the Nats. I think it was like 2. He had 4 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits. And he eats Lance Lynn here. So I'm on his over 1.5. I think he gets a couple hits today. And as long as it has a plus in front of it, take it. Like I said, I really wanted 110, but it was close enough. So Luis Ariz over 1.5 base.
Yeah, definitely. Luis Ariz is definitely one of the reasons why I'm looking under on Lance Lynn's K-prop, but we'll talk that when we get there. Next matchup is a matchup that everyone seems to be high on these Orioles, where I think that when we get to the playoffs, pitching's going to come out, and they ain't got none. So who are you looking at in this Angels and Orioles spot?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we all talked about that could be the Orioles struggle. Just a good young team. Do they really have the pitching when it comes down to it? We'll see, in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm
willing to bet against it personally.
Me too, just off what they have. But they got a good lineup, and I'm taking this guy against the lefty. It's Mountcastle. He eats them. He's an eating. This series, he had a couple hits against Detmers. He's got to be. I think you have to play him in this. And his Jack was +500. His 1.5 was +115. I'm waiting on the lineup there too, Sharpie. If he's in the 2-hole, I mean, you still play the RBI, but he's in the 4 or 5. I think that RBI gets juicier around 185. But I'm on the 1.5 at 115. I'm on the Jack for +500.
Was that -115?
+115.
Oh, you guys are always finding these plus money spots, bro. When these guys rake, bro, you've got me playing Yandy Diaz now versus a lefty, and I never thought about that shit. But guess what? Let off a double versus Lazardo's bitch ass, though, didn't he?
He did. That's all he needed.
Bro, I just need you guys in my ear pumping in these things. And, man, people say potheads don't have good memories. Nah. Those guys must not have good memories. But I am the pothead, and I have a great memory. I parked in Pinocchio 4 at Disneyland when I was 4 years old, okay? My prison number is V78419. There's just a lot of things you can't fucking forget. All right? All right.
Hell yeah.
You're just showing up, guys, for the recap of Jack of the Day. Get in the car, guys. He's going to start his day in the D-backs game, and he ain't going to take a D-back. Nah. He's going to take a home run at +550 on Ryan McMahon, and then he's going to head on over to the league-leading, about to be back-to-back batting champ, this time in the NL, last year in the AL, and we speak in Luis Ariz over 1.5 bases versus Fat Lance at +108. Then he's going to head today, guys, and head on over to Angels Stadium, the Big A, where the big losers hang out and live, where their win total over the last 8 years have done what, Connor?
Tell me. I don't know.
We're going to take Mountcastle over 1.5 guys bases at +115. He rakes lefties. He's got a lefty. He's going to keep doing what he's been doing. And that plus money, it looks like a good spot. So appreciate you, bro, for coming in. As always, bro, it's actually fun as fuck for me to talk hitting props. As I'm not the best one at it, as I just tend to look at a batter versus hitter and be like, he's gotta fucking hit him. That don't always work out. Let me tell you, man.
No,
Makes you want to stop betting hitting props.
Let's get to it. You know what? I'm gonna make an ad here, just before I dip, Sharpie. This one, I was looking at, and I think the matchup fits him perfect. I don't have the lineup out yet, and this one's for Big Show and his Tigers. And it's Kerry Carpenter we talked about last week. He owns righties, and when you go through Schmidt, he gives it up to lefties, Sharpie. He just does not have good numbers, and he's been hot lately, Carpenter. So I'm gonna I have his jacket plus 475. I think I can get a 500 because I just was looking at this right before we got on. I think I could find a 500, but I definitely have 475. I'm going to add that as the jack, and his RBI is plus 255. As long as he's right there in the 5 hole, I'll be on it. So I was just waiting for the line to come out. Kerry Carpenter, Big Show action.
Got a little bit
Tigers.
of bonus, a little Detroit.
Little
Hashtag
bonus.
rep Detroit, baby.
Yep.
Let these fine people know where you're at, what you got going on, and all that other good stuff.
Just check me out, Connor Mack Picks. Check me out right here at Pub Sports Radio. Go check out our college football breakdowns from yesterday. College football is back, and it's starting to get going. Week 2, go get it. Go hit a comment. Go check it out, all that fun stuff. Let's cash big. Thanks for having me on, Sharpie. I'll see you tomorrow, my man.
Yes,
Well, see you later.
We just finished with Jack of the Day, guys. If you want the recap, just go on right back and get you some of that. But on this show, we will talk the first line opened up on a K-prop, also the best line available 30 minutes prior to the show. Then we will see where the value lies between the books and PrizePicks. Of course, this show is sponsored by PrizePicks as well. So if you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS. You're going to get a match deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. If you like what you're hearing right now, smash that like button. If you love what you're hearing, go hit that retweet. And if you want me to call out your best bet, hashtag we be pubbing, or even if you want me to talk about somebody, I will give you my opinion. First guy on the board starts real soon, and we got some action. We got JP Sears versus the Blue Jays, number 49 in the black book, striking people out only 22% of the year while walking people 6.5% of the time. Open him up on DraftKings 4.5 minus 115, and that is still where he's at. Hasn't moved a cent. 4.5 on PrizePicks, where his pitching outs are under over 17.5 on PrizePicks and on most books, but yet FanDuel does have it at a 16.5. Lineups are 7 righties, 2 lefties. We start the day with JP Sears versus the Blue Jays. The juggernaut lefty hitting Blue Jays, right? Nah. When we look at their numbers versus lefties over the last 200 plate appearances, and that's just based off of numbers, guys, we got to look under. As they are the best team in the league at not striking out the lefties, under 80%. Well, overall, hitting at a nice 180. So, yeah, overall, it looks like they're fucking cruising and hubbing, right? Nah, we'll get to that. I get why we get a 4.5, guys, at the end of the day with JP Sears, as they gave the tax towards the under here, and that's what they should do when a team is only striking out 18%. If it was to go off of a team just straight being regular, he'd be at a minus 130, where if they were striking out, he'd be at a minus 150. So, no fishy shit going on with the K-prop. So the line makes sense. So let's go see who have they seen in that time span of these numbers. As Waldecott last night pitched a solid 6 innings yesterday, yet only had 3 strikeouts. Patrick Corbin got waxed in 5 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. Yet he only had, he had 6 strikeouts that day. Mackenzie Gore, we were on the under that day. He went 5 innings, 1 earned run, had only 2 strikeouts. Where once again, we faded Logan Allen that day, and he went 4 innings, 5 earned runs with just 2 strikeouts. Then some guy from the Reds named Brandon Williamson went 5.2 innings, gave up 4 runs, but yet punched out 6. And those are the lefties they have seen in that time span. All in all, they are 3-2 to the under 4.5 when seeing a starting lefty since August 18th. Now, when we look at the projected lineup, guys, I only did see one lefty, and that guy was at the bottom. I would like to see at least one more than one lefty in this lineup if we do want to go under, because he's just got a disgusting 16.5% strikeout rate versus lefties compared to a league average 23.5% versus righties. And then the lineups came out. We got 7 righties and 2 lefties with just 3 guys striking out in this lineup where they are all spread out equally. So it can be tough to hit this K-prop over. But I don't want to fuck around and find out with this under, guys. Let me tell you, as he can go out there and go 9 innings on these bitch-ass so-called hitting Blue Jays. As I ran the lineups, and they have a isolated power of 20th in the league right now if we just go off of what this lineup is being put out by the Blue Jays, as well as 8 of the guys just not fucking hitting. So there's one guy carrying that whole thing up to being them 20th guys, as this lineup ain't the Blue Jays lineups versus a lefty. We've got 8 guys not fucking hitting. So when I was looking under on this guy's K-prop to go in, I sure fucking pivoted, guys. And I took this guy's outs over 17.5 for a half unit at -105. As there's only one guy hitting lefties at the moment in this lineup, with none of these guys seeing freaking Sears more than one at bat in their career. And I went to go see where his outs were, because I was like, fuck, bro, I want his outs. And then I seen that the books are begging us to bet the under, as they had him at 17.5 or 16.5 on the FanDuel, and where most other books are 17.5. He's only hit that 3 of his last 10. As well as only hitting that 39% of the time. So the books are actually saying that they think he's going to go over that today as well. And that's where I think he's going as well. So I love being on the same side of the books as something, especially when they're asking you to go bet the under. I want the over. Let go. Let go. I see this guy out there 7 to 9 innings today, and I don't want to fuck around with an under 4.5 when we are in that. So, yeah. That game cracks off soon. That is the first bet. The next guy that cracks off soon is Zach Wheeler at the Padres. Number 16 in the black book is striking people out 27.5% of the time, while walking people 4.5% of the time. Morning line was 7+ -134 on DraftKings, where FanDuel has the best line to that 6.5 at a -146. Now, PrizePicks has it at -7, whereas hits allowed under, over, or 4.5. The projected lineup was 7 righties, 2 lefties, where the lineup is now out, and they have Padres 1. Yep, 7 righties, 2 lefties. We got Zach Wheeler at the Padres now for the second time this year, where back in July, guys, he went 7 innings, had 7 strikeouts when everything in the lineup numbers said run for the fucking hills, as these Padres were striking out and walking at the same 15.2%. Absurd, guys, both ways you want to look at, as well as having a isolated power out of this world at 280. And he dicked them down. And now when we look at the Padres projected lineup, guys, to the last 15 days, they're still not striking out at just 19%. Yet they've came back down to earth with the middle of the pack to bottom 20th in the isolated powers. So the numbers don't say fire on a K-prop if you just look at the overall K percentage. Yet it does say fire if we're going to compare the lineup to where he was at last time and now, as it's actually 5% worse than that K percentage, even though they are still elite. So I expect this guy to be out there at least 6+ innings today. They waxed out his innings at a price to where you have to parlay it or not bet it. And if he's out there 7 innings versus this lineup, not striking out, or I still expect this man to do the damn thing. As in 127 plate appearances versus this man, 8 of them have seen them, and they're striking out at a 27% clip throughout their career versus Wheeler. So, as well as just not hitting, guys, he can go another 7 innings as well as have 7 again. And I'm just content on letting this one be, guys, as if he was at home, then I would bet the over, as throughout his career, he has averaged 1.5% more strikeouts at home than on the road, where if you just look at this year, you'll be like, he's the same. I get it. Yeah, but I like to go off what I know, and he's just not in his candy cane today, where if I was to buck these numbers, which say these fucking Padres don't strike out, and say, hold my beer, I would like him to be at home. But the lean is still over. I expect him to be out there 6 to 7 innings. And we've got a team looking to lock up a wild card and a team looking to fucking go to Cancun, Mexico, and the Padres. So maybe I should pull him down to the win. But at the end of the day, I should just probably let it be. And that's what I shall have to do. Pitchers number 3 that we will talk about today is Tyler Glasnow versus the Red Sox, number 4 in the Black Book, striking people out at a 31.5% clip while walking people just 7% of the time. Morning line was 9+ at +116 on FanDuel, where the best line available now is on PointsBet. Though I don't know anybody who can bet there, but the fact that PointsBet has moved it to a 7.5 -145 means that the other books are on the way. PrizePicks not available on his K-prop, which means they took way too much money to that under 8, where his hits, earned runs, and outs are not available as well on PrizePicks. Projected lineup for your Bo Sox today is 5 lefties, 6 righties. Next on the board, guys, is Tyler Glasnow versus the Red Sox for what will now be the second time this year. As when Glasnow came off the IL to start the year back in May, he's seen the Red Sox for his second game of action, going 5.1 innings, giving up 1 earned run, yet striking out 6. And since coming off the IL, guys, back in August for back tightness and getting a few shots, he is 0-4 to the over on his K-prop, giving up 3 earned runs or more in 2 of his 4 starts. And 3 of these games, guys, should have been smash spots, guys, by the teams he were facing with the K percentage next to their name in the Angels, Giants, and Yankees. And he didn't hit 7.5 one time. And now they jump him to an 8.5. Did the books know something here? Or is he just that big of a public bettor? They can get away with this. And I tend to believe the books know something, guys. And I want to bet the under here in this spot. As why the fuck did they jump him up here, guys? As they're not striking out under 20% of their at-bats. They're actually, over the last 30 days, have a 63% chase contact rate, which is 5% better than the Cleveland Guardians, where they put him at a 6.5 last week and he didn't hit. Granted, albeit on the road. So it should be a 7.5 at home. Nah. They bump them up. They say, please bet the under. As do you guys know anybody betting the over today versus these Red Sox numbers? Nah. No, they're not. All you're going to hear is under money. So maybe this could be the titty capper play of the day. I don't know. I see something coming here, guys, and the books are telling me this man's getting 9 strikeouts today. I don't know how. I don't know why. Now, if he does, I will go and dissect that lineup and look at stuff that I have never understood to look at. I will look at every category and see what they see a la Darvish the last time they jumped him up. He went out and murked these people when nothing in the lineups and the line said he should. So I went through every piece of fucking analytical thing you could look at and figured out first pitch swing percentage with Darvish. Would I have ever looked at that before? No. But the books jumped him up here, and if he hits this fucking shit today, I am going to spend a solid hour figuring out what the fucking books know. And I'm going to tuck that away, guys, with Glasnow. We're going to make some good money off of it this year and next, guys. So I can't go over. I can't go under. His back is a real problem to me, guys. He hasn't had more than 7 strikeouts in smash spots, and now they bump him up. I would like to go under because of his back, but I don't want to tempt fate, guys. And going under right now is definitely one-way traffic, and that can definitely be the titty capper play of the day. We also have another spot that may fall under that. But let's talk about one other spot before we get into what I think may be the Chi-Chis. And we're going to talk about Dodger baseball. We're going to talk Fat Lance, number 36 in the Black Book at the Marlins. Striking people out this year 25% of the time while walking people 8% of the time. Morning line was 6+ -104 on Caesars, where there's now a 4.5 coming on MGM at a -160. But that means it's coming down. PrizePicks has him at a 5.5. It's probably moving to a 5, whereas hits, earned runs, outs are not available on PrizePicks. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. Lance Lynn gets the Marlins, guys, after being hit pretty hard his last 2 weeks for the Dodgers. But he's been what I thought he would be for us. Solid versus shitty teams and an innings eater versus the better teams. And that's okay because he won't be in the top 4 starters in my playoff rotation, let alone maybe not even have a spot in the rotation. So he's here now to eat up some innings and to get us through the rest of this year. And fine, that's baseball. I get it. So let's go see if we can back him, guys. It's been simple. Are they hitting? If so, fade Lynn. If they're not hitting, we can look to back him. As they're not walking, yet they're one of the best teams at not striking out just 60% of the bats, yet they're also 20th in the league when it comes to isolated power. So lineup pending, guys, we can actually look to go back Lynn here. Now, I don't know if his K-prop is a spot to back, as I do lean the under on that, and the books do as well, but not enough to scare me off of it if I want that, as they adjusted his win percentage to favor the Marlins in their K percentage, which that is what the books should have done. And if we go look at the past history versus Lynn, as the top 3 are the only guys who have seen Lynn in the past, and other than Soler striking out 23% of his 21 at-bats, the other 2 guys in Arias and how did I not write the other guy's name down? Let me go check that real quick because Sharpie was on a sick one this morning, obviously. But lineup for the freaking Dodgers game is Bell. I didn't spell Bell's right. I put Bev. That's me freaking missing the V and the L and the type. So my bad right there, guys. So Arias and Bell, guys,
Missing
are the other. Huh?
Missing the V, unheard of.
Yeah, bro, that's me typing fast and not looking. I don't watch what I type. It's just go, go, go. And then I usually go back and read it to make sure it makes sense. And like I said, I was busy today. So Luis Arias, they took out Soler out the lineup today. Oof. I need to run this lineup, though. So they do have Arias and Bell in the 1 and 3 hole. Those guys don't strike out to this, man. But these are also the only 2 guys. Joey Wendell wasn't projected. I believe Joey Wendell's seen him in as well. So I don't want to give you guys lying facts, but Joey Wendell has seen him 12 times. Ooh, 12 times and struck out 0 and bats 417 off that fuck. Where Luis Arias seen him 24, only struck out 2, batting 348. As well as Josh Bell batting a whopping 235, but he's only struck out 3 times. So the 3 guys in this lineup do not strike out, where 2 of them hit him well and the other doesn't. I still want to go one by one through this lineup and see how it's going, but that doesn't mean it's okay to go under here, as I do know some people on the under, and I'm going to tell you why I'm scared of that under, guys. And I get it. Lance Lynn versus teams who make chase contact has been the fucking spot to look to fade him. As he played the Blue Jays 2 times. He had 4 in one game, 11 in the other. He played the Braves 2 times. He had 6 in one game, 1 in the other. The Cubs, where he had just 5, yet he did put up 7 versus a Guardians team and 2 times versus the Red Sox, where he once again went 1 and 7 in the second. So all in all, guys, versus other teams in the league who fall under the category of the Marlins, which is they make contact when they chase, he's just 4 and 4 to the over 5.5 strikeouts, where for the most part where he's at today. So give me a team who's making contact when they chase, and I can look to bet the under. So I'm going to need to go through each guy in that lineup, as, yeah, I know Jazz Chisholm can be the death, but want to make sure I have at least 6 guys in there to go under, and maybe even 5, as it is the construction of the lineup with 2 guys that don't punch out sitting in that 1-3 hole. So that's the guys he's going to see the most. Those 2 guys don't punch out, as well as Wendell in the 9 hole as well, which he'll probably see him maybe 3 times. So if we get a team that's not hitting, is the reason why I can't go under, and will be the reason why I back his out. So I will be looking to bet Lance Lynn's K-prop under or his outs over, as if this team ain't hitting, I don't want to fuck around with Lance Lynn being out there 7 innings like he's done versus every other team not hitting since being on the Dodgers, and fuck around with a 4.5 and a 5.5, guys. As if I could project him to be out there long, I don't want to be on the under. So it's easy. Is this lineup hitting? If not, then I'll go outs over. If this lineup is hitting, then I will take his K-prop under, as I will think it'll be tough for this man to go 6. If he don't go 6, it's going to be tough to get 6. If he goes 7, he probably ends with 6 or more. So that's why I've got to run it one by one, guys, because this can be totally a flip of a switch. I will fade him or I will ride him, all pending on how they are doing batter by batter, not just overall. Next spot on the board, guys. It's a spot that we got on the show where we like to talk us some titties. And not the kind of Hooters. This is the titty capper play of the day, guys, where 90% of the cappers are giving this out as free money, including your favorite kitty capper. And not saying they don't win, but the books win a hell of a lot more than these other people do. A la how Miller do yesterday. Because I stopped watching after 5 when he only had 1. Nah. And this, guys, is a spot that you may not want me to say his name. Because he's the fucking GOAT. And when he talks, it goes, bah! He's number 1 for a reason in the black book. And we talking Spencer Strider versus the Braves. Striking people out 38% of the time this year. Walking people just 7.5%. Opened him up 8.5 minus 128 on DraftKings, and he was there for a fucking long time at 8.5 on a whole lot of books, taking it all that 8.5 money. And now he is at a 9.5 at plus, or 8.5 at plus 108. So they were content taking in all that juice on the 8.5 when this line should have never ever been at 8.5, and we'll get to that. Best line available is on DraftKings at that plus 108, where PrizePicks has him at a flat 6. His earned runs under over are at a 1.5. Projected lineup is 5. Oh, lineup is out. 5 righties, 4 lefties. Now we have the GOAT, Spencer Strider, with some titties all up in his face, guys, and not the ones we want either. The ones where the books took nothing but one-way action on a number, and they did move it. Usually they don't move it. So did they take in way too much money or did they fuck up? And I doubt the books fucked up, guys, especially on Spencer Strider Day, guys. I think they were content taking in all that money on that juice and then moving them right up another one, guys. So if he does hit today, I think he lands dead on 9. And even the 9.5 bettors, they're still going to get over money on the 9.5. I see 9 being a sweat today, guys. Why? Let's talk about it. What are the Cardinals doing right now? They're striking out, and they're striking out top 4 in the league. Okay, so it should be easy, right, Sharpie? I thought it would be too, as Spencer Strider has the key I look to run versus these fucking bum-ass fucking Cardinals, which is simple. You got high velocity, we can bet you. As I think he got some high velocity, guys, because, yeah, he may have top 3 velocity on a starting pitcher in a league, maybe top 5, but because some dudes are touching hundos on the most part, but not much more have higher velocity than this man right here. So let's talk about this 8.5. Let's talk it out, guys. As Strider, he's had 9 games since the All-Star break and 3 times where he was a 9.5. Where the other 6 games, he was a 7.5 to an 8.5. The issue, guys, is the 3 times he was a 9.5 were versus top 5 teams in K percentage at that time, as the books adjust to K percentages. As the other 6 were not striking out, and the books adjusted those accordingly. So why didn't they adjust this one, guys? As the Cards over the last 15 days are the 4th worst team when it comes to striking out at near 27% of the time. And the books just let Strider take in that 8.5. Yet versus the White Sox, Angels, and Pirates, all striking out at those clips when he's seen them, he started at a 9.5. So as much as I wanted to bet Strider versus the Cardinals, guys, I can't. I'm not. I don't give a fuck. I ain't going under on a GOAT. I'll tell you that either, guys, because if there's somebody to break and to fuck these freaking books in the eyes when the titties are out, it is this man. But I'd rather be freaking safe rather than sorry. I'll let you guys catch this over one, guys. I got my money versus the Dodgers last week, and something don't feel right now. And the thing that don't feel right was that 8.5. They took all that money in, guys. The books were open fucking arms to a number that should have never been there. And they don't do shit like that. Not with Spencer Strider. Now we're going to get into the last guy on the board, guys, as I did want to do 7 people today, and I didn't get to Verlander as Fangraphs was down for a fucking hour, and it's going to take me a lot of work, so I will put out a video on Verlander, whether I do nothing, whether I bet him. I'm going to have to do an hour worth of work on him, so I might as well as give you 3 or 4 minute video of my thoughts and opinions on Verlander today. But right now, I got the work done on Mad Max versus the Astros. Number 8 in the black book, striking people out this year 29% of the time, while walking people 7% of the time. Open them up on FanDuel, 5.5 minus 150, where the best line available now is still on FanDuel, but it's moved to a 6.5 at plus 120. PrizePicks has them at a 6, whereas hits, earned runs, outs are not available on PrizePicks. Projected lineup for your Astros is 6 righties, 3 lefties. We end the day, guys, with Mad Max versus the Astros in what is an actual sweep spot for the Astros, which means we can only look to back Texas or let it be in this spot if we want the money line, as we have a 90-win team at home in a situation where they can be swept in the Texas Rangers, which only happens 3% of the time on the year. As last time we capitalized in this spot, we talked about Miller, and you couldn't take the Braves, as I don't look to back trends personally. But I will back that trend if my guy falls under that and I want to bet him. So let's see, guys, if we can get in. This will be the second game versus the Astros this year. We're back in June, he went 8 innings versus these Astros, 1 earned runs and 8 punch outs, and we were on that over that day. And now we get Mad Max at a 5.5 open. Granted, he's moved to a 6.5 by the time of this write-up. We will all know the Astros are a no-fly zone. So let's just go check out the past history, as there's a whole lot of. As every guy in this projected lineup has at least 3 at-bats with upwards to 58, and in 146 plate appearances while just striking out 18.5% of the time versus this man. And that's including Maldonado's bitch ass, who struck out 5 of his 11 at-bats. And this guy had 8 in 8 innings, and that's where I think we get recency bias coming in, guys. We got a whole lot of guys who are sitting there looking at his last game like, he just had 8 and 8. How's he not get fucking 6? Because I'm going to tell you this, guys, that wasn't the fucking death squad lineup that he faced last time back in June. There was no Brantley. There was no Alvarez. As in, those 2 guys have struck out a whopping 2 times in over 65 at-bats. Granted, Alvarez has none in 8, and Brantley has a whopping 2 in 58. So once I looked at that, I was like, dude, that 18.5 K percentage, then it's sure fucking faulty if it's just one guy. So it seems like that it is just one guy who's given him a major thorn in his ass, as Altuve only strikes out 20%, but everybody else in this lineup is striking out a third or more versus this man while they see him. And that strikeout percentage jumps up to a 28% with taking out Brantley. And I get it, Brantley's going to be in the lineup. But unless they put Brantley in the top 4 like they used to, and until they do, I've got to expect him to be back in that 7-8 hole where they've been putting him. And how many times does this man see him today? 3? Where the rest of these guys, they strike out. And as much as I want to go under, I just got to wait for the lineups. I got to wait for the lineup construction. And I need Brantley in that top 4 if I want to take this guy's K-prop under. Or I'm just going to look to back Mad Max today, as this is a sweep spot. I want to go through lineup by lineup and see how to get in on Mad Max today, because I expect this guy to shove. He fucking lives for this type of shit. Now, is the strikeout show up when a guy shoves? Not all the time, especially versus a team like the Astros. But Mad Max in a spot to get his team off of a sweep, to me, is a bet on spot. And I still got to do my work on Verlander, and I may just end up doing work on him and just going under on the game. We'll see how I want to back it there and see how I want to get in once I do the work on Verlander. But I will put out the work on Verlander once I am done with him. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in today. I didn't get to Verlander as I did do 6 write-ups. And like I said, Fangraphs was down for an hour and threw me in for a loop and a half. And if you knew the way I panic at stuff, panic is an understatement. If you see me watch K-props and all that good shit, you see, oh man, he acts crazy, dumb. He freaking goes to ape shit. Nah, bro. I act like a 3-year-old child when they take off my Fangraphs. I mean, bitching is an understatement. How am I supposed to do my work? If Trey recorded me, I'll punch him in the face. But he'll vouch for that pussy shit because he's on the phone with me half the time. So let's go run through these chats right quick and read out some best bets. Rocco Rogers talking Seager over 1.5 bases minus 125. And he's going to do a ladder at 3+ plus 150 and take it to 4+ at plus 200. Justin McElvoy talking Padres team total over 3.5. All right. I think that one may be tough personally, as I think Wheeler goes 7 solid today. And we got Luke Murphy talking under 8.5 Ks, where I don't know what he's talking about, but it's something. You don't need to put out some dude. Oh, Spin Docs on the under 5.5. I was like, okay. Smash the like button. Of course, you guys should smash the like button. LA Dodgers minus 1.5 at plus 114 on DraftKings for Ed Seafrost. All right, you think Lance Lynn's going to have himself a day. I see you underrated, my dude. Real deal prime. I get it, my guy. And, yeah, let's keep it rolling, guys. Let's keep it rolling. I hear you, Luke Murphy. He's a 9.5 now. They took in 8.5 money for fucking 6 hours, bro. Like, gimme, when he should have never been that at home. Versus the team striking out is what I'm saying. So be very careful with that today, as it should be easy. It just is not easy. Did I miss your best bet, bro? I don't want you screaming at me, Cover Kings. I have to have Fangraphs too. 17-4. I like Lynn under, to be honest. I don't think I seen you with the best bet. And yeah, if you guys don't know, Fangraphs is the spot to go to for a lot of my stuff. I use Fangraphs. I use StatCast to check out pitch by pitch, or their whiff, or their chase, or anything to do with those type of analytics, where the numbers are all over there on Fangraphs. And those two are pretty much the main 2 sites I use, as I do use covers as just an oversight broadband on weather, to where if they show me anything with weather, then I will dig in onto a real weather, radar place, because, yeah. He says it's there. I've gone through every freaking piece of this chat, and I don't see a best bet. So I'm going to wait about 5-10 seconds, Cover Kings, and re-put it back above. I mean, it's not there. I don't see it. I'm telling you. I don't see it. It's not here. I see what you like. I don't see a bet. So maybe it got cut out, because it's gone. It's poof. It's da-da-da. It's da-dee. So the guy who's been hot as fuck that you all should be tailing is going to put his best bet in the chat, and he's probably going to yell at me, and I'll just have to take a Snapchat or a snap picture showing I ain't fucking got it. But he's talking Spencer Strider over 8.5 strikeouts. As that bet's not there no more, but that is his bet. But he did talk about it yesterday as well. I didn't see it. It's just not there for me. I believe you, Cover Kings. That's why I waited, bro. I get it. I waited. Did I just dip out this time? Nah. LJ from Houston, Trilogy prop play of the day is Corey Seager over 1.5. Seager is now 16-4 to the over 1.5 bases, coming off a no-hit game. He hasn't had back-to-back no-hit games all season. LJ with the motherfucking facts. LJ with the stats. LJ's with the numbers. So, do your guys a thing. And that right there means at least take Corey Seager to get a hit on a parlay if you're going to build one today. Because that just told you right there. motherfuckers getting a hit. So get in where you fit in, guys. The chat's been just as hot as I. Let's just stay hot. Let's keep this money coming to us. Let's stay safe. And let's just keep it rolling, 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 rolling.
Keep firing, assholes!